was scheduled to go out, and for some reason or other, I said, gee, I'm going to Germany. This is going to be an adventure for me. I didn't know what kind of adventure. To tell you the truth, when I was home, I never went to a camp. So here I am, knowing how to kill Japanese, but nothing else. And I'm going on this excursion, and I didn't know what to expect. We're going into a country that for many years we hated, and especially myself because I'm Jewish, and the concentration camps, and I really didn't know what to expect. So I said, you know what would be good if I took some kind of diary, not a written diary, but more of a pictorial diary of all the things that I did, and maybe someday show it to my kids, which was so far-fetched. And I did that. And it wasn't only the pictures of places I was, but every time I got a meal, or I got a sandwich, or I went to a theater, or so everything I took. Every time I was sent from one place to another, I was able to get a copy of the orders. And I started to compile that. And it just carried on and on and on and on. And all it was with papers, a lot of papers and letters and pictures and papers. They asked me, and I said I can do cartooning, which I did. And they said, well, do you think you might be interested in working for a newspaper? And I said, Stars and Stripes? And they said, no, this is in the Munich area, it's called the Bavarian. And I said, sure. And it's for military government, and I got down there and I became a staff writer. And what it did was, at that moment, what was happening, we were in a country that had been bombed, and of course, everybody there, if you asked them if they liked Hitler, they said no. I didn't find anybody that, but I can understand that. So we were actually not only their conquerors, but we were their saviors, because now, looking at the devastation that was there, we had to do something. You can't let people, that's America. So the Marshall Plan was coming into effect, which means sending over and helping them. So in military government, they were trying to set up a whole new system for the Germans because there was no Gestapo. So it had to do with the police department and building and rehabilitating the people. And then we had the displaced persons, which were coming out of the concentration camps, and you had to find a place. Where did they go? They couldn't go back to Poland, they couldn't go back to Russia. So that was a whole thing that they were working on also. But again, you're talking about, at that time I was 18 and a half years old, and I had this responsibility of trying to go to the police department and places like that. But you know what? You do it. And I did it, and you had friends and you had guys, and before you know it, the year was up, and I compiled one thing after another. And when I came home, I had all these papers, put them together, looked them over, and truthfully, I gave it to my daughter about 6 years ago, and I never looked at it since. And I brought it over here a couple of weeks ago to look at it. I don't know for what reason. And I was almost afraid to open it up, to tell you the truth, because it was from a different life and a different time. And whether it was a hardship or there was things that I liked, I couldn't recognize myself being there. And then when I finally did open it up and start to look at it, I got to say to myself, that was okay.